And I think we're good to go. Hello, Jason. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you.
Let's pretend that we weren't talking for the past 5 minutes. But yeah, no, good to see you, and welcome to the stream, where I try and be useful. Sometimes I'm successful. I'm not sure. But
I
yeah,
feel like you'll be pretty successful.
let's hope so. So yeah, this is regarding a set which happened a couple of weeks back now, but was a very well played first to 10. So well done on that. How do you roughly feel about it now, a couple of weeks out?
I would definitely say that at the time, I felt like I did pretty good. But then after getting some, mild tips from everyone, I feel like there's definitely a lot I can look back on and realize there were a couple of things I definitely could have done better.
And yeah, I think that's a fair assessment overall. Like, it was, I think, 10-1, which is a very impressive score, but I think that the way I tend to approach it is, if you lost one, that means there's still something to learn.
That is
there's definitely still something to learn. Even if you lose none, there's always something to learn. But yeah, always ways to improve, and hopefully I've picked up on a few here. The main ones I picked up on are based on your feedback, which you kindly gave to me before this stream. So I have written them down here, and there are your thoughts. So let's quickly go through them, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
So let's firstly look at this first one. So overall, you're very happy with the neutral mix, good pressure and strike throw going on, routing and combos, the usual stuff. So my feedback on that is, your neutral was absolutely excellent, and your pressure was also very good. You kept up the pressure very well. You were pressing the right buttons at the right time. Even did some quite unique stuff. I think you were doing some fuzzies on Narukami, which is very impressive. I don't even see top Labras's do that. I don't know if you're doing that on purpose, but you did. So
I definitely want you to point that out whenever it happens, though. That'll be very...
Yeah, we'll do. I think it's one of the later matches. Are you aware of what fuzzies are and how they work?
Vaguely, but I don't think I could give a good description.
I don't think the fighting game community can either. There's lots of people who use the word fuzzy for many different things.
I was about to say, I know what fuzzy guard break is, but that doesn't apply to this game.
Yeah, so in this case, it's to do with the fact that you can rising jump A on Narukami, and it will hit him, regardless of whether he's blocking high or low, if he's in the block string. So that is an interesting point, and it only works on some of the taller characters. Narukami is one of them, but there we go.
Let's say, I will admit, I definitely think that's just what's a good word for it? Not auto. I don't know why I'm blanking on the word. Whenever you do the thing, whenever you do a thing and not think, that's
autopiloting.
Autopilot, thank you so much.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just an autopilot thing, because I definitely do not know what characters works on and what don't, because I'm pretty sure it wouldn't work on like Teddy or something like that.
No, I mean, rising jump A is a decent option regardless, because it also happens to beat up back throw at specific timings, or up back anything. But also,
I'm pretty sure I just autopilot and just do it regardless, even though it doesn't work universally.
Gotcha.
So I'm definitely gonna have to look up what it works on and what doesn't, though.
Yeah, good to know. I do think I do have a section on it in the guide if you want to look at that.
Oh, perfect.
And we also have Vibe and Beef here. Hello to you too as well. Hopefully you'll learn some things as well. So that's all of that on the first point. Well, the main ones. Although a quick point as well. Strike throw. What does that mean to you when you say it?
So I got told strike throw apparently is like mixing in pressure between block strings and grabbing. And in my mind, whenever I first started playing, I was very grab heavy, mostly just because I liked how it felt. But then afterwards, I don't know, I got like, I don't want to say a fear, but I got afraid for some reason that anytime I would try to go for a grab in between pressure, I would get DP'd immediately. And I don't really know where this came from, probably because I just played nothing but kanji players for my first couple hundred hours, but I don't know, it kind of was ingrained in my gameplay for a little while, so I've been trying to break out of that a little bit, but also I don't even know if this is a good description of strike throw, but...
So, strike throw is an interesting one, because I think it gets thrown around a lot, and I guess the point is, well, you could say that literally everyone in the game can strike people and throw people, and throw is a part of everyone's offensive kit, right? Like, it's important. You need to make sure that people who are just blocking forever can't do that. And it's a good thing to have as an option. But the question is strike throw good for every character or not? And which is what I would say is an important thing to think about when it comes to how much you throw. So, for example, with Narukami, he has amazing stagger, right? Which means that he can threaten you up close as well as threaten the throw. He can threaten you with lots of very quick buttons that you can't really react to, as well as mids and lows, which is something that Labrys can't do. Her preferred range is actually the max range of 5A, because she can do lots of things and the opponent can't. And a lot of what she has is slow and has really bad frame data, so even if you do slower attacks into throws, your opponent mashing out will usually hit you. So while strike throw is a thing, I wouldn't be too worried about it on Labrys. It's not really your strongest option. Like, you need to threaten it sometimes, and if you see someone is weak to being baited into trying to throw tech, it's a great thing to throw in there. But really, it's not something I'd focus on. You have a lot of better options to try and bait bad responses out. But yeah, I mean, it's important, and I think the definition you gave was solid, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. People say a lot of things about how to play, and how to play Labrys specifically. It's definitely a tough one, and it's more unique because your tools, at least in the close range, are a lot weaker than most other characters. So yeah, remember it as part of your offensive kit, but don't worry about it too much, I'd say. Unless you really spot that someone's weak to it. But there you go. Next point, which was, let me see if I can highlight this. Chain Knuckle on block was super unsafe and could have been DP'd the whole time.
Yeah.
By Chain Knuckle, which part of Chain Knuckle do you mean?
I mean, like you shoot out the, well, I guess in between the fist bar connecting and then like either doing the A or B thing. In between that, I got told that, at least with Narukami, that would be very easily able to be DP'd. It never happened. I don't believe it happened during the set though, so I was just kind of thinking that it was just like tight the entire time. So I just thought I just got a free high-low mix after each time.
Interesting. So have you gone and looked at the frame data for the move and how it works?
For the frame data of the move, I don't know the frame data specifically, but I'm pretty sure I did look at the chain knuckle data afterwards, just because I realized, oh wow, that was apparently very unsafe. I should probably try to understand it a bit more.
So
I definitely did.
Yeah, I do have a section on the guide on this, and the important part is the high isn't a string from the chain knuckle impact, unless you're very far away on the screen. Don't worry, it's an edge case. But the low is actually a block string. And you were going low a lot, which meant that you couldn't have been DP'd. I will talk about why maybe that was still. I mean, it worked, so it's very difficult to ever say to someone it worked, but you shouldn't have done that. But yeah, it worked, but you shouldn't have done that. The payoff of the low on chain knuckle is very low, and that is -6, so it's punishable.
Oh.
So if they happen to block low, which they should be doing, and you don't OMC it, you are getting hit. And if you also do the low and they don't block it, the payoff is really low. You don't get a spike set up. You basically just get a meaty and not much damage. And from the high, you can get quite a lot more, which is why you normally see people go for the high, because then you play this whole game of, am I going to A guillotine you, B guillotine you? Am I just going to do nothing? Am I going to try and hold back? Am I going to try and jump? And that looks similar to the overhead follow-up. So there's a lot to do with the chain knuckle, but yeah, the frame data is an interesting one. It is generally bad overall, but the low which you were doing actually was tight. So don't worry about that one.
Oh, that's very good to know then.
So yeah, that's that on chain knuckle. So next point is, got a lot of the fatal counter jump 2Bs in red that you could have extended and got more damage, and practice some burst extensions. So the burst extension stuff, I think you've done a good job. I've seen you already practicing those, so good job on that. The point on fatal counter jump 2B. So jump 2B used as an opener is pretty good in green and yellow on counter hit. I say pretty good because it's actually not that good. Without you can get some decent damage in the corner, but it doesn't lead to much. You pretty much just have to pick up with jump A or jump B. There's no real way to confirm it with 5D unless you absolutely know it's going to counter hit, which if you're using it in neutral is basically never. And also once you've used jump 2B in a combo, you can't use it again if you want your combo to do any damage. So in Redux especially, you're pretty much 99% of the time better off counter hitting with jump B, fatal counter hitting with jump B. You get much more damage. You can use jump 2B to confirm into 5D reliably, and yeah, you have it just in case you need it to either continue the combo or do something else. And it's just an easier confirm as well. Like if they're on the ground and they get fatal countered, you get a long time to confirm that. And it's also just a better move. So a point that I will make throughout the set is that, do you happen to know the frame data for jump B versus jump 2B? Or roughly what they are?
I definitely know that JB is definitely a lot faster compared to J2B.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been a lot of times where I try to approach with J2B and I just get caught because the opponent's aerial is much faster than mine.
Yeah.
So I've definitely been trying to wean off of using J2B, way more.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to be more tactical with JB.
Yeah, that's roughly what I'm going for. So yeah, JB is 15 frames and jump 2B is 18 frames. And 18 is one of the worst frame datas on an air normal in the game. So I know 3 frames doesn't feel like much, but in this game it's everything. So yeah, probably need to look to jump B a little bit more. It'll help you with the confirms. It'll help in Redux especially, and yeah, just you won't get hit out the air as much. It is still slower than most air-to-airs in this game, but it covers a lot, so you can have fun with it. It's what the character's known for, so yeah. But yeah, other than that, I think that got that point covered. So the next one, ball corner safe jump. Do you know what it is now?
So I'm fairly certain I got something, or I misread something in the doc.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm pretty sure actually I made a note of it in my little cheat sheet.
Nice.
Let me, if I'm allowed, I would like to check that real quick.
Of course.
But I will say, while I was in the set, I remember specifically what I was doing is that I hit the bowl. I at least made sure that I wasn't trying to do it after in yellow axe, because I know that the glitch is still a thing to where after you do that, you don't have a safe jump option because of you're able to tech earlier after the final hit of yellow sea bull.
Very good.
Or beast. Sorry. Mm-hmm. So I knew that going in at least. However, I'm pretty sure I misread something in the notes for it.
Mm-hmm.
And let me get to it real quick. Because what I was doing at the time was that I hit the bowl, I went for whiff JA, and then I went for JB.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it hit a couple of times, but something at the time felt off about it.
Okay.
And either it was because I felt like I was landing the JB way too early, or the fact that I felt like I wasn't jumping early enough.
Mm-hmm.
The timing on it felt very off.
So I'll give you the answer straight away because it's not a specifically difficult one. So with Sea Beast, your safe jump is instant air dash as soon as you can. Instant air dash jump B, and it doesn't matter where on the screen you are. Even with yellow, in fact, if they do a normal back tech, you'll just cross them up. Which, unless they have an air DP, you're probably safe to do. So it's a pretty easy one. The whiff jump A, jump B safe jump is normally from a charge 5B into D-Orb.
That's what I was thinking of, yeah.
And it's a good one, and it works quite well. It specifically does require them to be quite high on charge 5B, but other than that, it's pretty consistent as well. And it's a very nice one to switch up into whiffing the jump B and grabbing them or going low, especially with the orb out. So,
I think that's what I was misreading. Because I was like, I remember reading the doc and I was like, oh, I remember specifically combing over the whip JA section, but I don't know why I made that mistake. But I was like, oh, I just do the whip JA into JB, easy. But then I didn't like scroll down to like the CB section or the when you can use it thing, which probably should have done.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, there is also a secondary case where that can be done, which is on SB Beast. You have enough time to do it. The timing's a little bit weird, but it does lead to a cross-up jump B if you jump towards them with jump A, which is nice. And also from counter hit DP, you can pretty much do whatever you want. You can dash towards them, jump A, falling jump to B. I see STDT use that quite a lot. But also the instant air dash jump B works just fine, and it is very solid and very easy to do, which is why I recommend it, and very easy to confirm off if you need to. So yeah, instant air dash jump B from Sea Beast is the moral of that story. It is a very easy one to do. I would recommend practicing it though. It is a little awkward to do because you need to have a good feel for exactly when you're able to move again. But yeah, that's that one. And let's see if I can get to this final point, which is sweep into C and D orb. What is your current idea about when to use orbs and spikes in different situations? What's your current flowchart for that?
So usually whenever I'm in like green axe or something, usually my priority is like axe gain and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And then usually whenever it comes to the orb and stuff, I usually try to do that at least whenever I'm in yellow or above. Because at least whenever I'm in yellow, I'll have the damage plus the combo itself is already going to give me axe meter. So I guess it'd be a little bit more beneficial to at least do the combo and have a potential mix or safe jump setup. Issue is, at the time at least, I was not able at all to actually do the safe jump setup, because I know after the 25 SP spike route, you can do, after the charge 5B, you can do C or D or dash cancel that, and then instant air dash JB.
Yeah.
At the time, though, I was not able to get the timing down at all because, I don't know, like trying to buffer in the C orb and then having to dash cancel out of it and then having to like know the timing for waiting until the dash cancel ends to where you can instant air dash from it.
Yeah.
It was not something I was able to get off consistently in the first 10 at all, I think. And even now, I still having some trouble with it.
So yeah, that's definitely an interesting point, and it is a route you can do, but personally, I have a very specific 25 SP route, which I think maximizes axe gain and corner carry and gives you a projectile setup, which is the one that I have in the guide under the 25 SP section. And I would recommend it. It's pretty much the only one I ever do, just because it's so consistent and there's so many ways of improving it, and it covers a lot of situations, and it's just very easy to do once you have it under your hands. And yeah, it's what I would recommend. So maybe go have a look at that one after the session and see if you can work that one in, because it is a nice one. And yeah, gains you a lot of axe level, probably more than any other route. So yeah, would recommend that. And in terms of sweep into C and D orb, so it really depends on what your opponent likes doing and what their DP does. If their DP is vulnerable to spike, for example, it doesn't move them and it will catch them if you block, I would recommend just pretty much always going for spike. If they like rolling or their DP does move them out of where spike would hit, orb tends to be better. And D-orb specifically, because it's so slow, I tend to only use it in the corner because of the high payoff you get from it. So, do you know what D-orb threatens the most?
I want to say like wake up grab or something, but
yeah,
I would not know.
Exactly, because it actually is your only way of comboing comboing from a grab is grab into D-orb. That's pretty much your only way of doing it meterless. So yeah, it in the corner especially, if you grab into a D-orb, if you've already set up the D-orb obviously, you get a full corner combo with jump TBs and everything. So it's strong, and it's probably where you should be using D-orb. Rest of the screen, it's up to you. I would say spike for the most part, unless your opponent's really doing something to upset how spike works. And just make sure you're enforcing it with your meaty 5As afterwards. But yeah, I mean, you're always free to mix it up as you do, but in the end of the day, the strong options are strong. So use them more. And that would be my advice for that one.
Alrighty.
So I think we have a message in chat which is talking about charge 5B. So yeah, the higher the opponent up is on charge 5B, the longer it takes for them to start the slide. And the slide happens for a fixed amount of time. So it makes the safe jump either work or work better. Sometimes it works too well and you actually whiff the jump B. It depends on, that's a very niche scenario if they're really, really high up. But it basically means, charge 5B into the safe jump tends to work better if they're higher. So from Spike, actually, it doesn't work. It's not a proper safe jump, at least not with the immediate timings. You can probably... Actually, I just think it doesn't work unless it's a very strange combo or you do it really, really early. So, yeah, Orb works better because it puts them really high up. Spike, I don't think it works at all in a lot of scenarios. And yeah, I hope that answers the question. If not, feel free to ask me again. And yeah, that's that. So I think we are now ready to look at the footage, if you are.
Yay. Yes.
Actually, no, I do have some final points just to mention. So, in terms
alright.
of overall feedback, apologies. So, I think that first point you mentioned routing and dropped combos on optimal routes. So,
yes.
I think the important point and the point I have written down there is it's a lot about resource management and figuring out what you're attacking with and what resources you have to back that up. So when you're attacking, especially in neutral, you've got to expect that something will hit and act accordingly. So if you're instant air dash jump being against someone who's low, you've got to expect it to work and be ready with either a 5A or a jump A afterwards. Just because if you're not going to be able to combo. And even if you don't combo, those are relatively safe options. So just having them ready under your hands will make you land a lot more than you might do already. And you don't have to rely on something massive like jump 2B as well. So yeah, and also considering resources, stuff like what axe level are you in? Do they have a burst? Do you have a burst? That changes a lot of what you can do on Labrys, and it basically changes situations from I'm going to have to knock them down 3 more times to, oh wait, the game's already over. So it's a really important thing to learn, and it's something you'll pick up over time as you try those routes, especially I don't know if you've seen how much damage those 1 more burst routes do, but yeah
it's quite a lot.
It's
I'm pretty
absolutely
sure the corner
crazy.
one does like 5k or something, right?
At least, if you have no meter. So it's absolutely crazy, but you do need to have a very good stock of, does your opponent have the burst? What did I hit with first? Am I doing these good hits to start with? Have I already used 5B in my combo? That sort of thing that you need to be very aware of and take. An important thing I think you need to do that I picked up on is that take the time to look at what resources you have. Even there are lots of dead points in the combo where you should just be doing stuff like muscle memory. So you have the time to look around at all the meters on the screen if you haven't already got a good idea of what they are. Because the ideal is that all your combos should be under your hands. You should be able to do them pretty much blindfolded at this point. Like Labrys isn't a very difficult character in terms of reacting to combos. And yeah, just really need to take stock of what's currently in play and adjust according to that. So that combined with sort of tidying up some of your routing, optimizing your setups should really help, I think. But yeah, I think that's the end of my notes for the overall thing. Do you have anything you want to say or ask before we get started?
Nah, I'm pretty sure you hit the nail on the head there, at least whenever it came to the looking at the screen thing. This is going to sound kind of bad, but I did not do that for a long time.
Yeah,
I never looked at the meter. I at least looked at if I had burst or not, because burst was my absolute savior when starting, because the one thing I learned, at least whenever I started playing the game, or at least from all of the beginner guides, was that you have to save your burst for whenever you're in awakening health.
Yeah.
And that just stuck with me. Didn't look at my meter, though. Didn't catch on that for an embarrassing time, but at least I do it now. But obviously I can definitely improve.
Yeah, it's a good one to get used to, because it's public information for both you and your opponent, so may as well use it, and it is useful. So Yeah, good stuff. Keep doing it. All right, so let's get rid of that and get rid of Persona, and we think we have the footage ready. So I have some background music just so we can have not complete silence. You won't get it though, unfortunately, unless you start watching the stream. And I think we are good to go. Let me put on my teacher's hat as well.
Oh, yay.
Okay.
That's cool.
Thank you. Didn't quite fit, but there we go. Yeah, I think we're going to go through the first 10 games, which happens to be all the way up to you getting 9, but I think we should be good to go. All right, so let's get started. And I'll do what I normally do, which is immediately pause it and say, good job, very aggressive opening. I don't see that from many people. It is a good thing to do. Well done.
Really?
Yeah. So, with Labras, you don't really have many tools at the mid-range, and a lot of people will back off at the start. So it's important to get into your preferred range and demonstrate that you're willing to do this. Like, forcing your opponent to act around you and deal with what you have is your only real way of manipulating your opponent on Labras. You don't have any long-range tools like Naoto. You can't make any of the screen dangerous apart from orbs, but orb is very bad and will lose to pretty much any other option, including running up and hitting Ariadne. So you really need to manage your neutral and make sure you're using your time well and forcing your opponent to deal with you, which is what you've done. So yeah, good job with the aggressive instant air dash jumpy opening. Keep doing it. Very good.
Thank you.
So let's keep going. All right, so that was chain knuckle into the low, which, like I said, there wasn't a gap and your opponent failed to block it. But as you see, he got up because the frame difference isn't very good on that. You pretty much only get a meaty, you can't spike from it, and you get, as you can see on the screen, 800 damage, which is nothing. So there's a lot of other options you can do. The high is the normal go-to, because then you can start playing with them. It does have a gap, but if you're playing Labras, you have to give them a gap eventually. But yeah, not really. So you couldn't really safe jump like you did with jump A into jump B here, which isn't a safe jump. You can see he's very free to do whatever he wants. He could probably DP this on reaction or even 2B it. So it's an option, but I wouldn't say go for it too much, especially when you don't have the one more cancel meter available. Because yeah, with one more cancel it starts becoming a lot more threatening, but it doesn't get you much. So it worked, but be careful about it.
Alrighty.
And I think there's a note in the chat about safe jump working when a spike's hit an opponent. So spikes don't necessarily safe jump very well. What I would normally suggest from a spike is charge 5B into a sweep, into a projectile, which isn't a safe jump, but you've got a projectile set up ready for them. You've gained a little bit of axe, and all you really need to do is block and wait for the projectile to hit them if you really want to be careful, and that's basically a safe jump, because if they try anything they're just going to get hit. So yeah, from spikes I wouldn't recommend safe jumping too often. How to know whether it will work, you really just have to look at all the variables in play, your axe level, whether it was a fatal counter, what character they are actually changes it as well. It's basically impossible to know, so I wouldn't recommend it, which is why I normally say just go for something else from Spike. But yeah, let's keep watching. Okay, good grab. Alright, so what I'm going to do, you're watching carefully, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I am going to do is disappear this. So, did he have burst available?
Yes, because it's round start.
Yep. Did you have burst available?
Yes.
What was your axe level?
I'm pretty sure it was green, unless if I got something else. I'm pretty sure it was green though.
Okay. It was yellow. But it doesn't really matter too much. It wasn't red, which is the big one for this. Did he have enough meter to super?
No.
Okay, good. So what did you just get hit by? Well, what did you just block?
I just blocked a DP.
Yes. So what is your punish?
Usually, at least whenever it comes to DP, it's like 5B into 5C, 2C, and well, at least that route. But it's in the corner, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't cross up, unless if he does, and I don't remember. But since it's in the corner, I'd have to do a different route. But I might have also just, like, autopiloted into that route and just dropped it.
So when it comes to punishes in 2.5, my advice is, if you can, always 2B, because it's a full corner carry route if you don't have corner already. In the corner, it's a massive, like, 7k route. Basically, the 2B punish route is the one I would advise in practically every situation in 2.5. And if you haven't seen it already, check out the B&B guides. So the B&B combos in my guide. It's in there. But yeah, the corner route especially is massive. And interestingly enough, so with Narukami, do you know what you can do to his DP to punish it safely, even if he does have Misa?
Yeah, I was about to say, I got told this in Ali's boot camp. Apparently, you can just hold charge on the DP to beat it. And I didn't think that would work at the time, because for some reason I thought that DP would cross you up and you would land on the other side, and you would just be stuck charging DP and they would get full punish. But I think that's not how that works. You can just charge it and you get free punish afterwards.
So that specifically is to do with DPing on your end, and also isn't true for all ranges, so be careful about that one. You can charge it a little bit more and it will usually clash, and then it depends on what the Narukami does and what you do. But what I'm specifically going for here is, if he did have, for example, 50 meter, what would you do? In this exact situation, yeah. Go ahead.
The optimal thing, I guess, well, he hasn't established if he would wake up super yet, but I would probably be afraid of that, knowing that he has 50 meter, or at least I should know that that's an option that he has. So I guess it'd be...
Yeah, so specifically, just talking about, so he's already DP'd and you blocked it. If he had 50 meter, how does that change the situation?
Oh, because he can cancel his DP into a super, which I get caught by so much, even after people whiff DPs, like, especially with Ken too. I get caught by that a lot.
So there are specific things you can do. So this is what I'm talking about. So if he does a DP like this, you have time to run underneath him and punish him and still get a full counter hit. So what you could do here, for example, if he had 50 meter, you'd run underneath him, 2B, 5D, and if you're close enough to him, you can then run back under him and get a full corner combo. It's actually
pretty... You can side swap that?
Yeah, you can side swap the 2B punish, which is another reason why I'd suggest always going for the 2B punish. It specifically has to be when you get a single hit, the single top hit of 5D, so you can actually run under them. But it's quite doable, especially in this situation. So that's what I would recommend. If you want, I can show you the combo later. Or if you really want to, I can try and show it to you now.
Is it in the guide? Or the doc?
So it's in the doc. It's the normal punish. But
okay, then yeah, I can definitely look it up afterwards.
Sounds good to me. All right, but yeah, so you had lots of options here. So yeah, knowing what you know now, what would your punish be?
Probably definitely at least something with 2B. I'm pretty sure I would not know the actual optimal route, but at least knowing 2B's very good scaling and just overall better options, I would definitely want to 2B it, or I guess maybe go for the charge DP, but that's, like you said, that's pretty situational. So
yeah, so the charge DP is specifically on your defense, so that it's nothing to do with the situation. But yeah, so yeah, 2B is the correct option. It'll be 2B 5D into charge 5B, and lots of other fun stuff will happen after that. So yeah, that would be your punish. Unfortunately, you did not this time. What you did was 5B him here, which is being a little bit impatient, which is understandable. You want to get that damage out, but you can't air hit with 5B, which is the other problem with 5B punishes. The 2B punish works fine on aerial as long as they're not too high. So yeah, you got to learn that new one. Just got a message in the chat here. Which character should we avoid pressure with 5A, A, B, C? So basically anyone who can punish 5B, 5C, which is actually quite a few characters. But Narukami specifically can't at long range. 5B, 5C and 5B chain and 5B sweep are options you need to mix healthily against anyone, because you want to mix up having good high-low options versus actually block stringing them in case they start mashing out. It's a difficult one to say, like, always do this on this character. On Labris, you always have to be mixing up because that is your only way of opening people up. You have to change up your options every time. So yeah, I can't say which characters for sure, but there are characters who can punish it better. Mitsuru has a 5A that can punish 5B, 5C. Narukami can technically 5C it if he instant blocks. Some characters DP will have a long enough range, for example Labris. Yeah, watch for characters with fast long normals or longer DPs, and maybe do 5B, 5C a little bit less. But other than that, it's a decent option. But yeah, enough sidetracking, let's keep going. So lots of neutral happening here. Some good blocks. Get opened up by not much of anything, but that happens. Got hit by the second hit of jump B, but wasn't punished. So
I was about to say, I at least in this match or long set, I definitely fell for that a lot because for some reason I guess I just forgot that there were 2 hits. I blocked the first hit, but then I crouched the second hit, which I'm pretty sure got me opened up at least a couple of times.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because it's a very weird fact that it hits twice high, and there's quite a few moves in this game that do that. Especially, you'll see a lot of characters can just mash jump A as well to hit you twice high, or at least twice. I'd advise looking for when they're landing in order to change your blocks. That can also get you baited, but for the most part it'll do you well. So rather than looking for the move, just wait until they're on the ground to change your block to low, because that's generally the only way they can hit you high is by being in the air, at least quickly. So I'd say, yeah, watch their feet. As soon as they touch the ground, then switch your block. Is the usual way a lot of people do it. So. And yeah, just a note in the chat as well, someone asking about why I prefer to punish with 2Bs. It does more damage. It works on aerial opponents. It can be adjusted based on multiple situations. The only problem is it's slightly slower and slightly pickier about how far away you are from them. But it is the better punish. It's just a lot of people remember the old punishes, which is 5B. It's just this is a new route to this version because 5D got fixed. It no longer breaks in terms of proration. So that's why I choose 2B. Basically, look at the guide, look at the 2B punish combos, you'll see why I do it. But yeah, okay, let's move on. Okay. SB combo here. Did you do that correctly? Is this what you intended to do?
So, at least at the time, I was for some reason having a lot of trouble getting out the jump back J2B into charge 5B. For some reason, I was having a lot of trouble with it. So if I was, I guess in this case, if I had like, lower damage, if I didn't have to do that much damage, or if I didn't, I guess, care at the time, I would just go for the orb and then just do a in-place J2B and then just do the JB in the wall. But also, I'm pretty sure, at least whenever it comes to the scaling, I know this route, or this like simplified route, does a lot less damage. And I'm pretty sure even after even if I got a beast afterwards, a D beast definitely would have killed, but if I see beast even after this, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't have killed, or at least it would have done so just barely. But yeah, it was kind of just, oh, it's easier, it's more consistent for me now. I'm still definitely trying, at least I'm pretty sure I've gotten down the 25 corner route a lot more consistently, but at the time, I was a little bit nervous, so I just thought it was better to be safe than drop it.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, yeah, that's a good point. As long as you know that the higher damage option is available, that's all I really care about here. And yeah, in terms of notes to make it slightly easier, if you do the dash cancel from the orb, it tends to line things up a lot more consistently.
Yeah, Ali told me that too.
But yeah, let's see if this, didn't kill because of it. Avoiding a 5D in a combo loses you a lot of damage. And let me just check something. Yeah, so you just
think
did a
I already know what it
knockdown
is.
into a sea beast. And then you orbed in his face. This is not safe. You are not able to do that from a sea beast. You only have time to 5A, if that, and that's not even safe. That's just a meaty. So yeah, you can't orb here. This is incorrect, and yeah, you're lucky you got away with it. And also you did sea orb, which just leaves, so it will catch a jump and it will catch nothing else. So de-orb in the corner. But yeah, not a safe thing to do, unfortunately. And then you got hit into Awakening. So what could you have done here?
So I don't know if that's true. So I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm pretty sure afterwards that is a safe jump for Narukami, isn't it?
Let me just have a quick check of what it did. From cross slash, I think he does get a safe jump. I need a Narukami main to check for me, but that's pretty high.
Yeah.
I think on Labrys at least you can't DP anything he does because
Yeah,
you're
I was about to
Labrys.
say.
But I guess the point
brained it.
is, what could you have done anything here to make the situation better for you?
Well, besides just blocking it regularly, or at least, not sea orbing in the corner after a beast, or at least, blocking the Zeokar either.
Yeah.
At least whenever it comes to the safe jump, I don't think I had time to 2B that, right?
No, you don't. But I guess
Yeah.
the point is here, if you're going back to the theme of checking your resources, is there anything you could have done?
I could have super canceled that into gears.
You could have, and I don't know if you know this, but from DP that is a block string, so you can make it completely safe. You have to do it immediately, and you can't react to whether it's been blocked or not. It does actually combo and counter hit at some ranges, but yeah. So DP into sea gears is a block string, so you can make yourself safe. Well, with some caveats. So he has meter as well, which means he can, if he blocks the gears, he can then SB roll and punish you. But most of the time, most people won't do that. And if they're far enough away from you, it also won't work. So, but I guess the point is, with those resources, you could have cancelled and been okay. Bit of a strange combo there from the Narukami. Got hit by the jump B high again, or whatever. You do gears this time. And that's a very good cross-up. Well done.
Yeah. I really like that route for some reason.
It's a very good route. It does a lot of damage if you hit them. That was a blocked one, but it's still very good. Yep. Up, back, jump D as a round start. I like that.
Yeah, I noticed that in the GA section of the matchup chart notes.
So I want to make a note of something good you did here. Let me just go back a little bit. So you get comboed, and you're falling, and a lot of Labryses would press jump B here, but that's incorrect. You did the right thing, jump A, which is very fast and hits below you exactly where you needed to do. So yeah, just very good job. Good choices between jump A and jump B's, I think.
All right, that's good.
And nice throw. That's a very nice setup. You did that quite a few times. Very visually difficult and just a very nice cross up. So well done. Jump B probably nets you more damage a lot of the time, unless you're like in a very good position to 5D. And it's also faster, and it's more ambiguous. I don't know if you've seen the throw setup section in the guide, but you can basically make it unreadable between left and right with normal jump B if you just delay when you do your instant air dash. So it's an option for you, but this one worked well, and you did pick up from it. Enemy has bursted. Backwards 5B happens. Good blocks. And you got out as well. So that combo should work. It works at all heights. I've tested it. You just need to be very careful with your hop timing. You have to hop and jump to B immediately.
Yeah, I was about to say, I only ever Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I only ever practiced that route in Red Axe, which gives you more hit stun, and I didn't actually know that it was usable in Yellow until very recently, because of the more lenient timing. but I found out recently that it is doable in yellow. You just have to be a lot more stricter with your timing and hops and all that.
Yeah, so with yellow, the timing is just do everything immediately. And honestly, that's your timing in most scenarios. The only reason you'd ever want to delay it is very specific routes in red against grounded enemies at very specific points. So there's a section in the combo part of the guide regarding delay short hop jump 2B combos. But outside of that, you never really want to delay it ever. So as soon as you can. And yeah, it is a good combo in yellow. It gets you a lot of damage and corner carry and gets you to red, pretty much guaranteed. So what can you do here? Do you know?
I don't know if I was trying to grab here or not. So,
well, do you happen to know what you can do to cross slash?
To cross slash specifically, no.
Ah, well, you can roll cross slash. So
I can what?
You can roll it. So after the super flash, as long as you're able to get behind him and you're not too far away. And if it's C version, you can roll it at any range after the super flash, and you'll be fine. If they happen to D-cross slash, roll will get caught, but that's very rare. Most people won't do that because D-cross slash isn't a normal reversal. So yeah, you can roll it. If you're far enough away, you can jump out. So stuff you could have done to avoid having to block it and getting one more cancelled. So it's good to know what you can do to most people's supers. It takes a long time to learn it all. In my matchup section of my guide, I do have responses to every super, but it's good to just practice it for yourself. And I haven't finished the guide yet, so I've only done half the roster. But yeah, cross slash can be rolled. It's the important part. I'm not sure what happened here. You did mash 5A into OMB.
That was definitely a panic moment. I definitely didn't think I was going to be able to hit that 5A, so I was just trying to escape burst because I was entering Awakening Health. Looking at the meter, though, I definitely wasn't in any danger of at least dying immediately. He didn't have burst. He doesn't have enough of me for super. He does have enough for like a 25-meter extension, but...
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. It's an excellent point. Looking at the resources, he's not actually a threat at the moment. You're full Awakening Health. There's not much he can do to kill you unless it's a really, really good starter, and unless you're getting counter hit 5 seed, you're probably alive. So yeah, good point. You didn't have to do that, so didn't need to panic. Didn't quite get the pickup either. It is possible just to 5A from that if you really weren't expecting it, but you are Embiid, so you should be expecting it, I guess. But yeah, there we go. That was a bit strange. Was that an auto combo?
So another thing that I at least did at this time was I was really trying to, get my mix on with my usual B&B, which is like 5AA, 5B, sweep into a guillotine. So I was trying to do things like, do the sweep early, or just do like 5AA, 5B, and then just do the guillotine early to catch, and just, try to get some sort of mix up. The problem is that I kind of just autopiloted it and then just went into super, just praying that it hit. And I'm pretty sure, at least with this time, I noticed that I had enough meter to one more cancel it in case it was blocked, which I think I did. But another thing I did was that whenever I would one more cancel after bull, I would try to grab, and I would either do it too early and they would still be in block stun, or it would be something like right now where I would just fail the dash cancel and I would miss.
Yeah, so I would never really advise going into bull in a block string, because why? It doesn't gain you anything. If you are going to one more cancel bull, from the second hit gives you effectively a high-low because you're slightly in the air, you can dash cancel over them. And also, if you are going to do a bull and one more cancel it on the ground, one thing you can take note of is how far it's going to rewind me. Quite far. Let's see if I can get back to where we were. Okay, so you can see what's happening here. So how is he blocking?
He's blocking high.
Yeah, so what can you do? If you
I could have one more canceled into sweep or 2A.
Or 2A. 2A is usually the safer one. So yeah, you probably would have hit him as well. So it's a good thing to take stock of while you have... So again, it's sort of dead time where you can just look around and see what's happening. So you use the time well and see what they're doing. And maybe you can steal something. Good roll out the corner. So you did jump B, and you didn't expect it to hit, so you were backing off. Like, that's kind of my point around. If you're going to do a move in order to hit them, expect that you're going to hit them, otherwise you're not going to be able to confirm anything.
Very true.
Confirm this one. Yeah, took the game. Very good. And I think the next one is the only game you lost. So what we're going to do is focus on how you were getting opened up, and maybe what you should have done in those situations. So let's see. I wish there was a rematch function in this game. Alright, both backed off this time. This you did with a jump D, which is fine. If you do your jump Ds too high, they don't block projectiles, so a little bit lower would have blocked the CO.
Oh, alrighty.
Okay, got your hits. So chose to guillotine instead of a knockdown situation. Given your opponent isn't great at blocking, you should probably put them into a spike situation, because your confirms off spikes are massive if you do it correctly. But you did get a sweep, and then, so you swept spike after, which is a bit strange, but there we go.
I will say one thing that, unfortunately for me, it caught a lot of people, so I just kind of muscle memoried into doing it, was that whenever I would do sweep into spike, a lot of people would try to roll towards me, so that's why I would try to do a jump back J2B. And it honestly worked a couple of times. Well, it worked enough for me to like notice that it was pretty nice. Fortunately, it's not a good like immediate layer 1 option, because, you know.
Correct.
So I definitely auto-brained into that way too much.
Yeah, you do got to be careful about that, because especially if they block it and you're doing spike, you are going to get hit, and you can't know whether they're going to block it correctly or not. So like you did there, you did a guillotine ender into sweep spike. So if you blocked low, you'd have been stuffed. And also you could have just done this before. And yeah, with regards to people trying to roll spike, I don't know if you know this, but if you do a spike setup and then sweep, even if they roll, it won't catch the roll, but you can 5A and hit them, counter hit on the other side. So they cannot roll that situation if you if you either immediately 5A, which is a meaty, or sweep, which isn't a meaty but is a low with massive payoff, you can punish them for attempting to roll. So
I do see the sweep used a lot.
It's a very safe option, I guess is the point. Like on block, it's fine because the spike then hits them and it's your turn again. On hit, it's at least 5k. In yellow, you can bring it to 7 if you want. Yeah, it's just very safe, and yeah, on roll, they don't get out in time. I think jump out they might be able to do, but it doesn't work too often, and they can't hop it because the spike will hit them. So it's a very strong option, and it's a very safe option, which is why you see it used a lot. Because yeah, the three main options are 5A, sweep, and overhead. Sweep is your highest payoff, and like I said, can't be rolled. So yeah, 5A and sweep, both good, and the overhead you need to throw in from time to time, but your opponent seems to not like blocking low, which I think you figured out as well, which is fine, and it worked for you, but not all opponents will be like this. But yeah, so I'd adjust what you're doing on knockdowns a little bit, just to choose the safer options and not rely on opponents making mistakes, because eventually your opponents will stop making mistakes and you'll be very sad if you're relying on this. Okay, so actually let's check what you got opened up by. So spike, your opponent jumped out. You just kind of jumped near your opponent. Fair enough, it happens. You tried to jump out again when your opponent was plus, so I think...
Don't do that.
Yeah, well, don't do that, but I guess the point is your opponent here is making a lot of mistakes, so it's very hard to read the situations, which is understandable, because like it's not a proper knockdown. What are you supposed to do? You've never seen that situation before, and nor should you. But I guess the point is, if the situation is unclear, the safest thing to do is usually block or just back away. and those are usually safe. As long as you're holding block in some form or another, you're usually not going to get hit. And I think a lot of times in this game, I see you either jumping towards or trying to press a button because you think you might be able to get away with it. Against the top tiers or anyone with fast normals, it usually won't go your way. So I guess my advice is if something's unclear, just back off or block. The only times that doesn't apply are with some of the more broken characters, kanji. But you're facing a Narukami now, so yeah, just you can play it relatively calm and you'll get away with it. DP'd unfortunately got caught by Lion. It's a thing that happens. You need to be careful at Lion points. You can't DP them until after he's coming down. Bursted him into the corner. You got DP'd, which happens. You're lucky that DP hit. Okay, good. You got bursted, fine. You take those. Yeah, so after a SB approach with that one, it's his turn and he's probably going to go low. He can go high, but it's unlikely.
Oh.
It's a pressure reset. So when pressure resets, people normally go for the start of their stagger again. So, which is what you got hit by. You teched upwards and just fell down without pressing anything. So I would normally suggest trying to dash out there, unless your opponent's shown that they're willing to block your dashes out. It's when you recover high in the air, you don't really want to be moving predictably like that. I think you used your second jump as well, which locked you into that, unless you're going to air guillotine. So yeah, use your air movement once you get it back. You should be able to finish this. If it doesn't. Okay, good gears. And that's not the combo.
Yeah, I messed it up.
Happens. Again, Beast, probably one more cancel would have been fine. Yeah, went for a grab rather than a low. Just sort of blocking here without doing anything. After you block a Zeo, you do have time to try something. Maybe not orb, but just probably jumping out so he can't do it again. Because the second Zeo, for some reason, feels a lot faster than the first. So yeah, try something on a Zeo, because it's not a safe projectile. It's one of the worst projectiles in the game, which is crazy because it's good. But yeah, you have to try something. You can't just sit there and take them.
I do want to note something. A lot of times, at least in these clips, you can see me like holding back and just like not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
My rationale at the time was that I expected either like an IED or an aerial approach for some reason, so I was like prepping myself to catch them with a 2B. In this case, it was definitely not a good idea, but I guess it's just me explaining what my thought process was at the time.
Yeah, I think that, it's... So with Labrys, you can't really deal with fast air approaches properly because your 2B isn't really equipped to do that. It's too slow, and a lot of the time you'll just end up getting it blocked if your opponent's properly moving in and blocking as they're instant air dashing at you. And your 2B is one of the slower ones with overhead invuln, so you're not going to be able to react to a line or an instant air dash jump 2B from Narukami. So normally the best thing to do is put up a wall with jump B and just control the space, or if you think you can get away with it, to set out an orb and start blocking again, because then you're actually controlling space with the orb, forcing them to deal with you. So yeah, I get the rationale, but I think you also understand that maybe wasn't the best thing to do here.
Indeed.
Okay, and then the opponent was in the air, you were blocking low, which is unfortunate. Okay, good jump B to start with. You spiked when you didn't hit, so you got to be careful about autopiloting that. It is not your turn. When he's blocking, like, he should have been hit for that. Alright, good jump B this time as well. Into the SB combo. Tried it fully this time, didn't quite get it. Was a bit slow on the jump back. Okay, didn't quite get that confirmed. That's a difficult one to confirm, to be honest. Yeah, that was your round.
I was about to say, I even got it FC too.
Okay, you pressed on his A-line, which interesting, but I get the fact that on block that would have been your turn. Sort of dashing at him without pressing anything, just opening you up a little bit. Good punish on the SB thing. That was a good side swap, but got bursted. Yeah.
I did this so much where I didn't dash and instead I just jumped up so the 5C would miss, or the JC would miss, and then it would pop out. It happened a couple of times in this, and it made me so sad.
Yeah, well, you know what was wrong, so that's all good. And punish this one. Very nice. Alright, on to the final round. Okay, Rising JC happens. Basically means your opponent's starting to learn what you're doing on round start, which is fine. Alright, this is a good route. Not really much more to say than that. There are some other routes you could have chosen. Yeah, you got opened up there somehow. I'm not entirely sure how. But
I think it was mashing, probably.
Possibly, or trying to jump out. But yeah, B line is not your turn. It's a hard one to react to, but yeah. Not your turn. Right. So yeah, you do get a safe jump from counter hit DP if you want it, which is usually the correct thing to do in my opinion. Against someone you can safe jump. So that would be my recommendation here. And yeah, one more cancel into mid. He is blocking high. You may as well go for the low.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a kill, but you're not going to confirm that in time. And yeah, you got.
Wait,
go ahead.
Would D-Beast would have killed after that?
So let's have a quick look at. It would have had to be. What's that? Where is it? So, D-Beast probably would have either left him on 1 HP or killed, but I guess the point is burst could have killed.
Oh, right, yeah.
But yeah, I think D-Beast may have killed because it will be mostly unscaled from this. But yeah, I think burst you can do on A guillotine sometimes if you have a very good read that it's going to hit. That's a double hit, so I wouldn't have expected it to hit. So let's see how you got opened up here. So yeah, again, SB. I can't remember the name of that move now. But yeah, that move is plus, and it looks like you were caught mashing. I'm not sure what you were trying to mash. SB Heroic Bravery, thanks vibe. Yeah, it's not your turn. So got hit for it. And again, you were not blocking, I'm not sure. You were trying to tech or something. But Alright, so you blue bursted and you sort of just run up and did nothing. On blue burst you do have time to set up a projectile if you want it, and it's pretty much completely safe. A common one I see people do is SB spike, because it forces your opponent into the air, or blocking if they don't know they can just do the jump.
So I have a silly question.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is blue burst?
Oh, so the OMB, so the burst to defensive burst.
Okay, so like in the middle of a combo?
Yeah.
Or like in the middle of a block?
Yeah, the one you did just there.
Alright.
So
because people usually say like blue burst and gold burst.
Yeah, so there's three types of bursts. There's one more burst which, you know, while you're comboing your opponent, knocks them up into the air, reduces 200 from your operation, and basically allows you to do whatever you want, and has some invuln on it. Blue burst has full invuln on it, and it can be done while you're being comboed or you haven't got back up yet. So even if you're like in the middle of teching, you'll still blue burst until you're back up on your feet again. It is relatively slow. It is slowed by any move that has lots of hit stop on it. So I don't know if you've ever seen anyone try and blue burst a orb, so defensive burst from an orb, but it takes forever because the hit stop on orb is crazy. But yeah, it's not safe on block, and yeah, you get punished if you get blocked with a blue burst. But does send your opponent to the other side of the screen and gives you time to set up something. So the very famous one is Yukari. She can set up Magarula from it. Labris can't do too much. She can set up a spike from it and you'll be safe. It won't be your turn anymore if they have something on you, but you can usually do it safely. And the third one is Gold Burst. So Gold Burst can be done anytime in neutral when your persona is with you, and can be done on Wake Up if you're frame perfect against meaties as well. But yeah, it gives you full meter and is +2 on block as well, so it's not too bad even if it does get blocked. He's actually a decent defensive tool on Labras, which is one of the reasons I like normal Labras as well. So yeah, those are the 3 burst types, and blue is the defensive one that you use while you're being comboed. Does that make sense?
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, no worries. It's on the Dust Loop page if you want more information on those. So yeah, SB Spike, very good. Into a block string. Yeah, you get guard cancel attacked, which is fine. You can sometimes react to them if you're ready for it. You can 1 more cancel and just block it and punish. Enemy has burst, so I wouldn't say it's quite worth here. Good blocks. SB Heroic Bravery catching you again. Opponent doesn't burst to kill you, which you're lucky. I'm guessing that was you got crossed up and got beast instead of gears.
Either that, or it was a very poor attempt at trying to do something cool. But
yeah,
let's say that was cross up.
Yeah, 'cause gears would be correct there.
Yes.
But yeah. So yeah, you got caught a few times. I think just being a little bit impatient. Yeah, it's hard to deal with an opponent who's dropping a lot because like how are you supposed to react to that? But in any case, that is the one time you dropped, which happens. Means we can improve.
Indeed.
Let's see if we can skip to the start of this. Too far. Alright, so let's see what the round starts look like now. Alright, you're getting hit by jumping jump C. Do you know what you can do to counter that?
Wouldn't it just be jump back JB?
With Narukami you probably still get hit. I think you probably have to just run up 2B. Or just get out of there completely and punish. Yeah, Narukami's jump C I think is head attribute. So you can be invuln through with 2B.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's very fast air normal, but it also has a lot of recovery, so you could probably just instant air backdash and then punish him as well. It's one of the tougher ones. Or you can, if he's going very close to you, you can also rising jump A and you might get away with it, depending on his spacing and which jump he uses. It's worth looking at if your opponent does it to you a lot. But yeah, lots of options you have. But the good point is he is now starting to react to you doing stuff, so you can start punishing it. That's the whole. That's kind of the whole thing with Labras. Like you have to try and manipulate your opponent into doing stuff, and then you can start killing them for doing the stuff that they're doing. All right, good counter hit jump B again into this. So yeah, there is a better combo in the guide I would recommend for 25 SP. Very linear block strings, but it happens. Forgot the dash again. That was also a fatal counter, so there's lots of other things you could have done, but yeah, normal would have worked, so I'm not going to say you should have done anything else. Alright, blocking after SB Heroic Bravery, very good. I'm not sure if you could have rolled there, you might have been in block string, but fine. You auto-comboed here.
Yeah, I will definitely admit I was not looking at my axe meter at the time, yeah, so I was like, oh, I'm probably in green or yellow. I can do that.
Yeah,
and then I went kind of
the point. Like you have a lot of time, especially during 5 AAA, to look at all of your meters. And yeah, you should have realized, unfortunately, and yeah, you lost your red axe for it. And you might just want to practice 5 AAA Sea Beast just to have it under your hands as well. TP'd out. Again, didn't go for the safe jump, just went for a meaty. Like, safe jump is strictly better than meaty. So just always do meaty when you can. After a guillotine, you are minus, so it's very unlikely your opponent's still going to be there for sweep, and even if they are, they're probably going to mash you if they know what they're looking at. This Narukami didn't quite know what they're dealing with, but any competent opponent will probably knock you out of that. Okay, SB combo. You went for this one, which is a bit of a weird combo. Like I said, look at the guide for the one I'd recommend. It just always works. So that combo can work. There is a very specific combo I have in the guide for auto comboed into the corner, in yellow and above. It's quite finicky, but it can work. Okay, good 5C. 5C, 2C only works when they're very close. And if you whiff a 2C, you're in trouble. At least if your opponent's ready. Alright. Good jump 2B. Although jump B would have given you more time and probably could have let you kill. Yep, good kill. Very nice confirm from the trainer.
Thank you. I was able to get my...
And then...
Was it, never mind.
Yeah, stream is messed up there, so let's keep going. Alright, let's see what happens in round start. Yeah, very good adjustment unit 2B. Opponent just backed off because they weren't sure what you were going to try and play it. So, yeah, good adjustment. That was the one time you should have done jump 2B because you whiffed, but happens. Good punish. Again, I would have gone for a knockdown, and this time it didn't work. But again, your opponent isn't ready for it, so got away with it. So yeah, especially with block strings, you do need to start varying things up. So you have a lot of options in 5B. Could you just list some options on what you can do for 5B?
I know 5B, you can dash cancel, you can dash back, which I know is like something crazy like +2 or something.
Yeah.
You can do sweep, you can jump cancel it. Can you jump cancel it?
No, you can't jump cancel 5B.
Okay, I'm thinking of something else then.
That's 2B.
Yeah. There's that. You can just do the A guillotine like I've been doing. Can you evasive action after it?
5B?
I don't
No,
think
you
that's
can't.
something that you want to do, but
No.
yeah.
So the main ones I'm
guessing
looking for
I
here
missed some.
is 5C, which is
Oh.
what leads you into multiple other things, and chain knuckle. So 5C and chain knuckle are very big parts of your pressure because they basically add up the things that you can do. So from 5C you can also chain knuckle from that, but from 5C you can also high low, and it's slightly nicer. It's slightly more plus. Chain knuckle you can go into all sorts of things. And you can even pressure reset from chain knuckle. Chain knuckle is actually +1 at its closest range. You have to get into it, but it's also fine because it also brings you back slightly, so it's very hard to DP. A lot of DPs will whiff because she sort of rears back before she does chain knuckle. So yeah, there's lots of things you can do rather than just going to sweep, and I would recommend you start working them in. The dash cancel's okay. The dash cancel forward is quite minus, and you will usually get DP'd for it, but there are ways to deal with that. And you can also grab from that dash cancel. You can pressure reset to A. You can jump up to try and bait DPs or bait throws. There's a lot of things that you can do from chain knuckle, and it creates a lot of threat and will start getting people panicking. Just going into sweep, normally most people will block. So, and then once you've swept, you're kind of stuck. You can chain knuckle from sweep as well, but yeah, the pressure gets pretty linear from there. So I would advise looking at some of your other routes and trying to mix it up a bit more.
Gotcha.
Alright, jumped away, making space, that's fine. Should have air turn there if you're going to jump B, but it happens. Air turn is fine. That was a weird one, so charge 2B is a bit of a strange move. I
I was about to say that was probably a misinput on my part because I was trying to do regular, but I think I held down the button for too long.
And yeah, Vibe also has a point about from 5B into sweep into A guillotine, you can also B guillotine axe. And B guillotine axe is 0, and it's basically your turn back because most people can't challenge Labrys's 5A at its max range on +0. So that's another thing that you can do. So thanks for that, Vibe. Good suggestion. Okay, got caught DPing there. Was your opponent going to do anything that scary at that point, apart from put you into Awakening? I think a good Narukami could have threatened to kill you. This Narukami not particularly. I mean, they're a beginner, so fair enough, but I don't know how much threat you were under there. Yeah. Good. Jump to B. Again, jump B might have given you slightly more. That Sea Beast was fine. Yeah, so I think you were slightly too high on that one, so that was the sea beast that you were talking about before.
Yes.
So it was yellow, but your opponent didn't. I think it was a short enough combo that they couldn't tech anyway. Yeah. So instant air dash would have worked here because your opponent is actionable here, so they could have DP'd. Would have been close though. And again, going for the low when you can't do anything from it doesn't really change much. I would suggest trying to threaten something else, just because, then this happens. So you didn't really change the game state at all. Like, you got your hit, but you didn't actually help the situation. You've been better off just blocking and going into 5A or something. So I would watch the amount you go low on the chain knuckle. And you should be dead here, but that relies on your opponent hitting the Swift Strike. Okay, they do. There we go. Alright, good punish on that, running under it. Good sweep. So, do you know what your options from sweep are?
My options from sweep?
From grab, sorry.
Oh. I know that, well, I don't have it right now, but I know that there's some one more cancel setups. You can also burst into some nice stuff. And I know that you have the orb connection from grab, but none of that I was able to connect with, or I had the available time or resources.
So you didn't have the resources here, but I'm just talking about you hit them with a grab, and then what would you do afterwards?
And I know also that there's a fatal counter extension off of grab in Red Axe.
There is, but you didn't fatal counter him here. So I guess what I'm getting at is you can 5A Meteor, which you didn't do, but there's also a very fun thing that works against a lot of people, which is if you 2-1-4-8 immediately as soon as you can after a grab, if they don't tech, you'll get a yellow combo and it just combos. If they do tech, they'll be hit by the last frames of T14A, which actually makes it plus, even though the move is normally minus. And that gives you a 5A if you want it. And if they try and mash, you get a counter hit on them. So it's very strong. It's also just an immediate overhead, which a lot of people won't block because they normally wake up and block low. So try it out in training mode, try it out on some enemies, just 2-1-4-A immediately after a throw. And even if it's not a counter hit or anything, and it will usually do something nice. The only way out of it for an opponent is to DP, and lots of people aren't willing to do that, or don't react in time. So, something to consider. And at least meaty them if you are going to do something. You just should have run up and did nothing, which isn't great.
I'm pretty sure at the time I was trying to bait either a DP or a grab, so I wanted to dash in and act like I was going to do something, but then I wanted to back out to either get a whiff grab or DP. But I went too close, so even whenever I was backing up, I was still within grab range.
Yeah, so I'd say fair enough if you're baiting a DP, but yeah, A be at your max range for 5A, which is why I say strike throw for Labyrinth isn't that strong, because it's not where you want to be. And even then, if you're going to back off, you can backdash, and you can't be grabbed during backdash. So you can run up backdash, and that's a very good throw bait as well. Other throw baits include jumping upwards and doing a falling jump B. Those are all very nice throw baits rather than just standing close to your opponent in their throw range. But yeah, the other options also work against DP. Labyrinth DP is so bad that it loses to meaty throw. It's just a thing you have to deal with. Then you get caught trying to roll out. It's very dangerous against a Narukami. I get that they would normally 5C there, in which case it would have been correct. But failed to react to opponent's whiffed 5C, but it happens. Again,
I was trying to go for the corner swap route there, but I'm pretty sure I was too far away for the dash under.
Let's have a look. Yeah, that's probably too far.
Yeah.
Would have been close, but yeah, you can also cross up with the spike versions as well.
Oh, true.
It holds them for long enough. You were trying to jump out of a pressure reset, which is very dangerous, and you got hit for it. Gears, fair enough. Good cross up. You got bursted, happens. SB spike, very nice.
A bit of a weird thing there, but
Yeah, lots of weird hits and confirms. There are ways to deal with that. So charge 5Bs in the corner, especially if you're expecting it to hit. Your next move is 5D. Which
I will say for that particular scenario, I was expecting the J2B to just wall bounce, and I was gonna do JVB, but the second hit of spike hit, so I was kind of just like, what?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, you were confused, which is fair enough. That was a very strange situation. But yeah, if you're charge 5B and you successfully charge 5B, that should be enough time to figure out what's going on.
Let's say I could have done 5D and all that.
Could have done pretty much anything. If you're in meter cooldown and you don't know what to do, instead of auto comboing, just go into your air routes. It does slightly more damage. Fatal counter here. Yeah, lots of other routes you can do, but you'll get those with time. Okay, so yeah, fatal counter in the corner with 5A. Even just the normal corner 5A route would have been a lot better than this. So SP Guillotine is actually a very bad combo move. It's got ridiculously heavy proration on it.
Oh.
And it is never worth doing unless you really have to, especially in red. In red, you should never use it. Unless you're like at the end of the combo.
It's actually a very big point. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, so again, you need to look through the guide, look at the red axe combos. The corner one especially is very easy to do on Fatal. And you have lots of time to confirm into it on normal Avarice because you have 5AA, so you can 5AA 2B, and then you have lots and lots of time. And you could have killed him about 3 times over with that. And also SB Guillotine, it freezes your axe gain, which is a problem because you need it to D-beast. Yeah, again, messed up the route or whatever. Okay, you got DP'd. So, let's about to make an important point, but I was looking at my notes. Okay, you got DP'd here. Okay, do you know what I'm going to say?
If it was a counter in red axe, could I have done a 2B there? Or is that only in
5A?
corner?
You can 5A or
5A
2A anyway in the screen. But yeah, you can... So yeah, red grabs that are counter hit are technically fatal counters. The game just doesn't say that it's a fatal counter. So yeah, you could have comboed here. You could have just done 5A, 2B, and then air combo into... You would have gained the last meter and killed him. So if the game was over here, you just needed to know that you could combo. But also, actually, another important point. Let's look at that situation again. You grabbed him. What else am I going to say you could have done?
I grabbed him. I don't know. Yeah, actually, I don't know.
Look at the meters on the screen.
I couldn't do anything.
What can you do?
I could have bursted.
Yes.
I could have gotten
you had a lot of time to look at your burst. and you didn't. So, yeah, you had a burst.
That's very true.
So it's either being aware of it or using the dead time. Like, your grab takes a while. So just look at everyone's meter while you're doing it. So yeah, lots of ways you could have killed, like you said. But you're aware of it. It's just getting used to it, taking a look at your meters whenever you can. Keeping a running total in your head if you're able to. Right. Okay, you're getting jump seed again, so you need to start adjusting to it, but it happens. And again, you try to DP a grab, which is just unfortunate. It's fine. So yeah, from a 2B, your opponents will start figuring out that you're always going to jump cancel 2B, and you don't have to. You can go into stuff like Guillotine, or jump away and like do a jump D or something, or instant air backdash, and punish people for 2Bing you after your 2B. So you need to start doing different stuff, otherwise this happens to you. So
very true.
Just be careful, but yeah, good 2B otherwise. Good meaty. Again, very linear. Your opponent somehow got hit by that because they instant blocked the first hit of a Guillotine, so it made it so it wasn't a block string. You got a little bit lucky there because you weren't really presenting any threats. Good throw. Again, sort of run up, do nothing. You managed to get you got the throw bait, but then punished with a 5B into a not 5B punish combo. Yeah, again, that's not the save jump. That's fine, triple 2A is okay.
I'd say. At least at this point, I had the high-low mix-up on the brain, but I wasn't really thinking, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess
Better
it's,
ways to do it.
it's kind of the other point, like you... So you got him into a block string here, and then you just auto-comboed him, which means... So you can hit him high here if you can air cancel air guillotine here.
I was about to say, yeah, I see people do that, but isn't air guillotine minus, though?
It's very dangerous, so you don't have the meter, so I wouldn't advise it here. So what you can do here, though, is... do you know what you can cancel this into?
What I cancel 5AA into? I don't know.
So you can actually sweep from this. It's a change in 2.5.
Oh wait, yeah, I did. I'm pretty sure actually I've done it a couple of times in these matches so far.
Possibly, yeah. But you went for just the 5.8 for the 214A here, which basically ends your block string. So there's lots of things you can do. So sweep into 214B is a nice pressure reset. Or just sweep into hop, jump 2B. There's lots of things you probably can and should look at doing rather than just pressing 5AA because it doesn't get you very far. And DPing was a bit hasty there. You were DPing someone who was above your head, which is dangerous. Probably don't do that. Your DP doesn't hit there. That was a good overhead. Good job. Although you had the meter to go low there, but you didn't do it. Fair enough, it worked. I think you got hit trying to go jump 2B there. Again, you were trying to mash when it wasn't your turn. Good side swap. And yeah, not dashing, but you got away with it because the corner was close. Yeah, run up nothing. And then you got grabbed. Please stop doing this. Okay, you did it properly this time, D-Beast. Nice, good combo. Very good awareness of your kill range there.
I'm definitely trying to work on that a lot because at least now, whenever I use D-Beast, I'm always like either a little bit off to where I leave them with just a sliver. So I'm definitely trying to get my damage awareness up.
It's one of the trickiest parts of Labrys, but yeah, it's something you get
Definitely,
used to.
I definitely want to look more into the scaling of D-Beast.
So it goes to minimum damage very quickly, and it goes to 2,160. So as long as you know what that looks like on your opponent's health bar, you're good.
Alright, fairly simple.
Right, getting hit pretty nastily here, and unfortunately you're playing a character who can't DP to put themselves in Awakening very easily outside of SB combos. Again, 2B jump B is very weird. Mostly people don't do that because you'll get hit, but it works out. Again, went low. You had the meter to confirm it into a longer combo, but you didn't. I would recommend if you're going low with 50 meter to one more cancel 5A regardless of what happens. Just to get the confirm. Okay, did the jump 2B too late again. You should die for that. You don't. Again, doing nothing. There we go. SB spike, good. 2B is a very committal button that doesn't really lead anywhere, as you found out. I'd say just go with 5A, because it also means it's faster and it's less likely you're going to get DP'd, which a lot of people like to do out of blocking spike. Okay, that's a slightly better string. Good backdash. Just missed the 2B. Happens. You should be holding tech as soon as you start getting comboed.
Yeah.
I get what you were going for with that guillotine, just out of range. Again, low into nothing. It didn't really change the game state. Would advise you had the meter for it. This should 100% kill. Didn't need to do that. You could have just beasted, and I think Beast actually would have gained you more axe in that situation. See Beast. Yeah, lots of jump 2B into jump forward, which is very dangerous because he figured out you can just 2B. So you're just losing your turn every time you 2B.
That is true.
Yeah. So I guess a small point there. What is it? So 5A. Chain knuckle into the high. You're in red axe, which means your next button should be 214B. And you do 2 and 4A, which gives you less damage and slightly worse knockdown, which is fine. Might cost.
There's a small optimization.
Small optimization, and/or you could have put him on like 1 HP from that with burst, but
Oh, whoa.
I wouldn't have advised it, to be honest. It's a good starter. That overhead from Chain Knuckle is one of your best starters. So yeah, you could have done like 6-7k meterless.
Wow.
You killed here. Good job. And also, if you are going to do 1-4A, actually no, that's fine. Yeah, good job. I think you're getting into the swing of things here. I think this is game 8. 18 minutes. Good jump 2B. Getting 2B'd, but he can't confirm. Fair enough. That's a very risky DP because he's above you. I would not advise it, but it worked. Again, roll it when he's not really threatening anything, and he probably can safe jump you from that, so be careful on those rolls. Rolls are really committal option.
It was too high for that.
Yeah, that's
I think that happened a couple times too.
Yeah, you should really just find an SB route like and stick with it rather than rotating through different ones, and yeah, I would recommend the one in the guide.
I will say as an aside, I do feel kind of bad that a lot of the advice here has just been you got to look at the guide more.
Well, it happens. I mean, it's a very big guide and it's very wordy, so don't blame me for not reading it all. Yeah, it's got a lot of good stuff in there, so give it a look.
Yeah. I have the resource available to me, but I'm not making the best use of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, now you know. What could you have done here?
That was Fatal Counter DP, so... Actually, wait, yeah, I could have super canceled this, right?
Yeah, Sea Beast would have killed. So it's about being aware of your meter. So you have 105 meter here, so and you have plenty of time. Like on counter, well, for Labras Fatal and normal counter are the same on DP. Yeah, you can see Beast there. But yeah, good overhead. Don't know why your opponent suddenly decided they want to block everything low. Maybe they're learning. So yeah, jump
right here would have been a nice burst extension, right? Or no?
Not necessarily. Like, there's no reason to burst here. It doesn't actually change the game state. Your opponent's still on 1 HP with a burst. So, and you having the burst means
yeah, they also have burst, yeah.
And yeah, they have a burst too, so you can't threaten anything. The one thing I was going to say is jump B would have allowed you to do 6k and get a orb safe jump knockdown. So jump 2B is worse here, and it's just harder to confirm. So, and yeah, from jump B fatal, that's just the same route as you always use for the Touch of Death, which is why I like jump B so much, because you just use the same route over and over again and it always works. So again, yeah, look at the guide for that route, it's nice. He had managed to do the Persona classic of baiting your opponent into throwing by whiffing a throw, and then punishing them anyway. Okay, good, you blocked this time. Okay, what am I going to tell you?
Either I could have done a super thing, or I guess burst, but probably unnecessary at this point.
Oh, game's over, so you may as well burst to make it safe, right, and give yourself time.
Oh wait, yeah, this is round win condition, so yeah, true.
Opponent has no burst, has no way of stopping you. You have a burst, you have Red Axe, you have 50 meter. You had so many ways to kill, and I think you landed a sweep, so you had plenty of time to see that this was happening. So yeah, it's being aware of what you had. So game was over, but now it's not. Got lucky with the mash there. This time just stupid. Fair enough. So yeah, it's just being aware of what you have at all times, especially on Labras. Like, there's so many ways you can kill if you're ready for it. This is game 8, almost there. Zeo, that happens. You're very good at punishing those failed Zeo cars. Good job. Again, this is a sweep into spike when you didn't actually have the hit. So I would advise going for that sweep when you actually have the hits.
I was about to say, that was after a guillotine, right?
So yeah, you did a guillotine and then just straight into
And then
sweep.
oh my gosh, wow, okay, so... Well, as a small aside, whenever I was playing some sets with some other friends of mine, I got told that I mashed after guillotine, and I was like vehemently denying it for the entire time, because I was like, why would I do that? It's minus.
Well,
Now I'm seeing myself do it, and
Yeah.
it's
Well, I
I
guess
owe
the
them an
point is,
apology after this.
in this situation, you hit them with guillotine, which is fair enough. In which case, yeah, it is your turn, so you can do what you like. But sweep is a very strange choice. I would say at least run up to A, then it gives you chances to do other things if they block it, and you can actually tell what's going to happen. But yeah, sweep spike is only if you 100% know they're going to block high, which you don't, and you're often wrong about. So yeah,
True. I just, for some reason, I just have an aversion to using 2A because of the poor scaling, even though that doesn't really matter in some cases.
yeah, it's fine. I mean, and the thing with Labras is most of your combos are setup combos until you get the kill combo. And it's fine if they're not doing massive damage, because your 5A combo also doesn't do much. And well, sweep spike also does nothing. So it's like, well, I think 2A, 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 5A... Sorry, triple 2A, 5B sweep would do more than sweep. So you may as well.
Oh wait, you can do 5B after triple 2A?
Yeah,
Cool.
you've done it. I'm pretty sure. And I think
Oh.
the point I was going to make here, you're already in Red Axe, there's no need to SB.
Yeah, halts, the meter gain.
And then you go
could've done
for-
something better.
You're going for a damage combo, which all it really does is puts him in Awakening and means you don't have any setup. So I would have done a setup rather than going for that. Throw got teched, fair enough. Then you sort of backdash and stood there. Should always be doing something if you can. Don't have the meter, fair enough. Good jump away. Very good 2B. In Red Axe, you should be ready with jump 2Bs, but yeah, it's a thing.
So on Red Axe, at least whenever you land a 2B,
Yeah.
do you go for the J2B or do you go for 5D afterwards?
So, I suppose, yeah, let's just talk about 2B confirming in general. So in green and, yellow and below, any 2B that's an anti-air should always be super jumped into jump B, and then jump C, and then air guillotine. The reason I say that is because even though you can technically do double, so jump B into jump cancel jump B again, that doesn't work at every height, and it gets very tricky, and you might start dropping things. And there are some people who in yellow will try and jump 2B, and they will drop it 90% of the time because that combo is incredibly precise, which is why I don't do it and don't advise doing it. So yeah, anything yellow and below, no matter what, even if it's counter hit, because you're not going to be able to tell it's counter hit in time to 5D, just super jump B, and hit them that way. In Red Axe, I would advise jumping up and doing a delay jump 2B, because it will work even non-counter hit at pretty much every height, and you can confirm just by dashing up. It's basically like the end of Red Axe auto combo. You just dash up and double jump B again. And on Fatal Counter, you will have time to wait a little bit longer, do the very long delay falling jump 2B and then 5D, and that's your touch of death combo.
Yes.
So, yeah, Red Axe, jump 2B, everywhere else just super jump B. The only difference is on punish combos. On punish combos, you do the punish combo, but they have to be mostly grounded. And that's 2B, 5D into the rest. If you absolutely 100% know you're going to get a counter hit, and I don't know how you'd ever know this, and also 2B is so slow that you most of the time won't get a counter hit on anti-airs. You can 2B, 5D, but I've never found that reliable enough to recommend doing it. So that's my general advice for 2B. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. If you have any questions, you let me know. I am speaking quite fast.
That's all good. I can watch this back anyways.
True. Okay, let's have a look at this. So jump B, that's fine. Wait, did I just hit the start? I did, didn't I? 22, 30. I think I wrote down the times for these. So let's keep going. Alright, here we go. Oh, it's the next round, wasn't it? So yeah, round start, red axe, which is good for you. So run up 2B might have led to the touch of death. It does have a burst though. Okay, so chain knuckle. So you did a chain knuckle reset. I don't know if you intended to, but you need to microdash your 5As, which is a big thing on Labra. So if you microdash your buttons, it's either 0 or 1 frame slower, and you get a massive amount of range from your dash startup. Do you know roughly like how microdash works, or what it is?
I know that I have to do it at least for the burst routes. You know, you have to microdash to like get enough range for like a chain knuckle and the 5D and stuff like that. How it works specifically, I absolutely did not know that. Apparently, you only get like maybe 1 or 0 more frames for your moves, which is sounds crazy to me. But if that's how it works, that's how it works.
It's very strong. So yeah, basically you're getting the startup of your dash, but you're cancelling that into a move. So you basically get the extra range while you're sliding, but you just get to attack anyway. So on Labras on 5A, it gets you like an extra half character length at least. So you might have been able to actually hit him there rather than just whiffing it. Okay, so that's a fatal counter. Do you happen to know how to confirm from this?
From this, while I'm so could I do JVB delay jump back J2B?
Yep, and that would have lead into the full corner routes as well as multiple 5Ds. So that you do 5D from that J2B, and then charge 5B into a second 5D full combo.
Yes.
I find it easier to confirm with jump A because it's a lot faster and it stabilizes things. So I would personally do like rising jump A here once I've seen that you've got a fatal counter. It's just faster and you can do jump B from it. So as long as they're not too high. So for me it works better. It's up to you if you want. If you're able to react fast enough, yeah, great, jump BB. It'll do more damage in the end. Because with Labras combos, doing fewer attacks is better. Because it's all about proration. And yeah, that's another.
So right here. So for the longest time, once again, I was blabbing out a probably very impractical route, which was a J2B starter in the corner. And right here, I was like, oh my god, I got it, I can do it. And instead of trying to do charge 5B afterwards, I just did JD, so I just missed.
Yeah, that's a very difficult combo, and when someone's in the corner like that, just jump B them. It leads into so much better results and so much easier as well. And then you got hit. I think we're back into neutral. Again, the second hit of jump B, you've got to be careful. Another fatal counter. Again, 5AA to B is your actual route here, and that would have led into you would have threatened lethal. That's the streamers having a joke.
Yeah, unfortunately.
At an important time, but there you go. I mean, it's a beginner first to 10. Happens. Got hit high. So you can burst trade there.
Oh yeah, I got so sad about that, even though it was probably not an optimal thing, because at the time at least I was learning one more cancel routes, and I was like, oh, I can do it here.
Yeah.
But then he bursted, but then I was able to thankfully get a pickup afterwards.
So yeah, I guess we'll go through it again, and I will ask you the important question. So yeah, you got the burst, you got the punish. What am I going to say to you?
Should have gotten a burst extension.
Yeah, one more burst into pretty much anything would have killed him.
Yes.
And you had a lot of time to look at the resources there.
Very true.
Yeah, good job, good win. Now we're going to game 9. Okay. Is the embed broken now? Wonderful. I will fix that quickly.
No worries.
What time are we at? 25. So yeah, Orb does lose to Zio. It's kind of sad, but it's life. So do you happen to know what the invuln that Ariadne has is on Orb?
Ariadne has invuln. Actually, yeah, I vaguely recall the fact that at least like, I don't say during the start, but like at some point during Orb, Ariadne has invuln, but then afterwards she's very vulnerable. I don't know what the specific timing for it is.
So it's a very interesting one because she has full projectile invuln for the entire thing, but no strike invuln. So in those situations when you're trading projectiles, she doesn't protect you, but she can live through those. So as long as you get it out in time and start blocking, she's fine. Spike is full invuln for the entire thing to anything. So yeah, it's weird, and really she should have full invuln on Orb if it's to be at the same level as most other people's moves in this game, but Labris is low tier, so she doesn't get the good stuff, unfortunately. Okay. A guillotine, you hit and then you backed off. It was your turn. So I would advise that you keep going in when you get hits, because why would you go back to neutral? It's your turn. Good confirm there. Again, I would normally advise super jump, but it worked out. Yeah, chain knocked into low, so that was not your turn. So that was a mash. That was very bad.
There you go. Yeah, so right there is that. I don't know if that even works consistently, but I remember I hit it one time. So, because I noticed
go ahead.
A lot of times whenever I was going for the whenever I was going for the spike around the corner, or at least for some reason at the time I didn't know that you could dash cancel 5B. I know, very stupid, but so if I was in the corner, I remember one time I was like, oh, I can just 5B from here, and then I did all that, but then they would check out. So then after a while I was like, wait, what happens if I try to grab them? And I think that was the first time I ever discovered, I don't say a reset, but like something to that effect. I don't know what the proper terminology is, so I tried to hit that there, but one, it didn't hit, and two, I have no idea what the actual timing for that is, or even if it's like something good to go for.
So with 5Ds in the corner, it's very much to do with roughly where they are, which character it is. It's unpredictable, and you can't really 5D once you've done an SB Guillotine, because SB Guillotine is so bad in combos. So you basically screwed your combo over once you SB Guillotine, which is another reason why I say don't do it in red. It is not worth the meter. It just ruins your combo, reduces your meter gain. Basically, yeah, don't do it. It's not worth. You have many other ways of getting good knockdowns in red, if you did want to go for them. And yeah, stuff that's covered in the guide, but would be too long to say here. You didn't tech. You should have been holding tech.
Yeah.
He messed it up, thankfully. So from there, what am I going to say to you?
After all this.
So you got a hit. Okay. What could you have done here?
Well, technically, the thing is I could have supered earlier, but I'm guessing that's not what it is. And also, I could have done the burst extension, but I would probably not been able to do that effectively because they also have burst. And it's not also round end condition or whatever, so it wouldn't have anything to do with that.
I mean, you might have been able to D-beast here, but yeah, it's not what I'm going to suggest.
So I'm actually drunk blank.
So 150 meter, what can you do with that?
You can beast, Swarmer cancel beast.
Yes, and that is burst safe. So you had the kill.
Oh.
And you had time to realize you had the meter to do that, so would have been a good option. Good. Yeah, good. An auto combo confirmed there. I would have thought that'd be too high, but it worked. Alright, good job. Let's just check what that hit was. Yep, good. So you started 2Bing those jump Cs, so you did adjust quite well. From triple two-way, yeah, 5B does work at any X level. Good cross up. That is a kill combo. But yeah, it's a tricky kill combo. Actually, it isn't. There's easy routes you could have done, but yeah, you have to know. You have to be ready with that one more burst. And again, sort of 2Aing, but not expecting you to hit. And opponent didn't burst, although that was a close one. Alright, into the last one.
Yes.
I think this might be where you did the fuzzy type stuff. Let's go back to the beginning.
Why, you're right. Yeah, you did mention I did fuzzy stuff.
Let's see if I can find it. Alright, good job B. Again, we're quite ready to confirm it. And again, sweeping into spike without knowing it's going to hit. It's a no-no. People will start punishing for you doing that quite quickly. Again, I don't like this route because you don't get proper knockdowns. But I think that was it actually. For a sec.
Yeah.
Yeah, very weak knockdown, but yeah, rising jump A hits Narukami, which is kind of hilarious. It wasn't a true fuzzy because he wasn't in block stun, but basically you hit a ground option by doing an air move immediately, which is very nice. And you did it again there. So it's working, and you obviously subconsciously knew it was a good thing, but basically, yeah, it's something specific to tall characters. Narukami whiffed a grab there, and you did nothing. Just got to be ready. Yeah, very nice overall, and I think this is a quick round, if I remember. Yeah, there you go. You blocked the Zeo there because it was low enough. And again, jump 2B instead of jump B, so it was a very short combo. That was 6k if you did a jump B and confirmed it correctly. Into a knockdown with orb and a safe jump. Okay, that's fine. He still has a burst, which means your damage is capped. And yeah, he couldn't really do much there. Yeah, good job. That's confirmed. And that's all we're going to look at, I think. So yeah, very nice set, very well played overall. Very nice neutral. You kind of figured him out quite quickly. Your aggression was there, the round starts were there. Is there anything you want to ask or add to that?
So I will say, I remember I got the orb route, or at least the SB orb route. Well, not SB orb, but SB 18 into orb. I got that from the doc, and I remember specifically it was mentioned it was good for corner carry.
Yes.
Is there a better corner carry route in Red Axe to do that doesn't involve using SB 18? Is it the Hop J2B?
So there's multiple ways of going about it in Red. It depends, firstly, if your opponent's in the air or not. If they are in the air, it's the same as the orange combo, because the normal jump, short hop jump 2B combo pretty much takes them to the corner regardless. If they're on the ground, there is two ways of going about it. There's a short hop jump B combo where you jump B and then land in 5AA, you auto combo them again, which is extra damage and extra corner carry. It just gets heavily scaled near the end, so it's pretty shaky. And then there's some really hard combos where you do a very specific delay on the jump, the short hop jump 2B, and then 5D straight afterwards. With a micro dash. So that's a very hard combo, but it does work, and there's a specific section in the guide dedicated to that, because it's I don't put it in the main combo guide section because I think it's hard enough that most people shouldn't do it. But if you're looking to really get up there in Labrys play, it's at the cutting edge, and it is consistent if you're consistent. So it's a thing to think about, and that's full corner carry it's corner to corner. On characters it works on, which is most of them. Not the Velvet Remembers, pretty much, because they get to cheat. But yeah, there's lots of routes you can choose. So yeah, that orb one is in the guide because it's technically the damage route. It's not the axe gain route, and it can be used if you want lots of damage, but it's very rare that you want damage from that route. So I'd almost advise not using it because I've not used it in years. Maybe I'll take it out the guide, but I put it in there for completeness because when I was testing these things, it was like, well, I need to show the maximum damage you can do from from SB Guillotine, just in case someone needs it one day, but it's very rare that you do. It's like I said, in yellow and red, which is when you're normally killing, you don't use it. So, yeah, there are routes available. Take a look at the guide again. I would normally advise, if you are going to be SB Guillotining, using the axe gain route. It's very good. It does about 3-ish K, so you only lose about 200 from the damage route. And if you really need to, you can debeast from the charge 5B in that route as well. But yeah, it's a very good route. I would advise it. Look it up. It's under the 25 SP combo routing section.
I'm going to be coming over that guide a lot after this.
Yeah, no worries. There's a lot of stuff in there. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, of course.
Anything else?
Not at the moment right now, no. I'm gonna probably take a good amount of time at the end to digest everything, make sure I watch the stream back, go to the places you're referencing in the doc, note some stuff down. But there was definitely a lot of good stuff I learned from this, especially the SB Guillotine thing. That was definitely a big surprise for me.
Yeah.
It's probably going to adjust how I, play the game from now on. And also, especially looking at my meter and resources, because, good golly, I did not do that.
No, yeah, I think the number of, it was at least 2 or 3 times per game where you could have killed but didn't. It's a thing, and it's something you need to get used to, because a lot of people say, well, Labyrinth kills you in 1 hit. Well, that's only if you see it, and only if also only if your opponent has used their burst already. But yeah, it's an important thing that you need to learn, because the kill ranges are pretty insane with the right hits and with the right resources. So yeah, good luck in your journey, and I'm sure you'll get lots of nice kills with it once you start doing them.
Yeah.
Good stuff. But yeah, other than that, you're doing really well. Like, you're getting up there. I think beginner would be unfair for you. I think at this point, like definitely getting to the intermediate level. Like, you're neutral at least, and your choices of button presses. I'd say intermediate to high level. It's really just getting those confirms down, getting those hit confirms in, because that's the other point. I think hit confirming is big, and you've got to expect your neutral is good enough that you're going to be expecting your pressure to hit a lot of the time, and your neutral to hit. So being ready with those confirms, knowing if I'm instant air dust jump being, if I hit, this is usually what I have to do to confirm. Getting used to that, having a look for it in matches, start picking up, getting those niche combos as well, like that counter hit grab in red. The combo for that is also in the guide. But there's also a corner version of that and a mid-screen version. The mid-screen version is quite hard, but the corner version's fine. And there's easy mid-screen versions as well, which I think is also mentioned in the guide. If it's not, just ask me.
Alrighty.
But yeah, there we go. Good job, and yeah, keep it up. Definitely improving
thank you.
very quickly over time. You've come a long way.
I'll take that, thanks.
Good.
Let's say I thought I was being kind of slow.
No. I mean, like, I've been playing this game for what, 9-10 years now, so it's like, yeah, it takes a while to learn these things. Like, a lot of these players have just started learning the last year or so, and they're like, oh, I'm not at the top level yet. Like, you're fighting veterans. You're like literally veterans if you're playing this game probably before you were even old enough to know what a controller is. Like, yeah, good stuff, but you're learning quickly.
Yes. Thank you so much, by the way, for taking the time, setting this all up, actually having these notes prepared. I really do appreciate the effort you went through to do all this just for little old me.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm always happy to help. Yeah. I hope things improve soon, and I'll see you in the big boy tournament soon enough, I'm sure.
Yes.
Sounds good.
That's the goal.
Cool. In which case, I think we'll end it off there. Unless there's any other notes you want to say before we end.
Nope, that's about everything.
Perfect. In which case, yeah, thank you for coming, and to anyone in the future watching this, thank you for listening through for this 2 hours we just hit of Labrys learning. But yeah, that's it. So I am going to mute, and we will be done. So farewell, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye.